Hi guys, in this one we're going to set up input buffering, which will queue up the next action we want to execute by saving the button pressed, and then it actually executes it when the player is ready. So for example, if I were to attack and then start holding the right mouse button, as soon as we finish attacking, I will go into block, because now I'm idle even though I'm holding the right mouse button. And similarly, if we were to attack and straight away press left mouse button, it will remember that attack and execute it when we can execute action. But first, before we do that, I want to fix this clipping issue we have. So when you're blocking and you can go into walls or even next to enemy, you can overlap with him. And we kind of fixed it with the enemy by increasing the radius, but then it's very hard to walk around him. And also the player has increased radius, so it can't go that close to the objects. So we will fix it in a way that in the player, I'm going to increase this size, and also here we're going to get the capsule component and set radius, set capsule radius to something like 80, but only when we are blocking. And then we're going to copy this and paste it here and put it back to 35, which is the default value. We can also go to capsule component and change it back to 35. And we can probably do that on enemy as well. So let's go to capsule component here and change it to 35. So we can actually walk closer to him. But I'm going to change this AI move to acceptance radius to 110. Compile and save. And let's play the game now. Actually, let me unhide the capsule component so we can see it better. So search for hidden in game, unhide this, play. And now as you can see, my capsule radius is the same as it was by default. But now when I hold the block, you can see it's much bigger and it actually ends where the shield is, and I can't go against the wall anymore. Right? And I can just, when I turn it off, I go back to normal. So only when I'm blocking, it is increased. And it will actually push me against the object when I move, or against the enemy. So now when he attacks me, I'm not actually directly in his face. And it looks much better. And same thing probably with 200 weapon. But for some reason I have noticed that I cannot strafe. I'm not strafing, so I need to check why. And also this guy is not taking damage. So I've probably just forgotten to connect final damage. I'm going to have a look in the combat components of final damage. Oh, okay. So if you were following the tutorial closely, I've probably left this disconnected, so just connect it back up. And for strafing, let me see. So we do have character is strafing. And check is strafing, remove gameplay tag, that's fine. This one is the same, so control at desired rotation, so that's rotation to camera needs to be on, and this one needs to be off. I don't know when I actually changed this or for what reason, but it needs to be like this. Alright, now let's see if I'm attacking and doing damage and stuff. So that's all fine, and I'm strafing as well. And I quite like this, looking much better. So that's fixed. Let's set up the input buffer. So what we want to do first is we want to, after we press the button, we want to save that action so we can execute it when we stop executing different action. For that, let's set up new enumerator, which will tell us what input we have pressed. So let's go to blueprints and enums, right click, blueprint, create new enumeration, and this one will be input type _e. Open it up. Here we'll create some variables. First one will be no input by default. Then we're going to do attack, or actually maybe we should do like left mouse button in case we have like heavy attack or something else on it. So let's do LMB and RMB. left mouse button, right mouse button, then dodge, and what else do we need? Toggle weapon, because that will also be action that we want to continue from. And now in a player we will set up new function, which will be set input, or set input buffer, and in here we need to have inputs. By the way, before I forget, let's hide this capsule component again. And now in this function, add new input, and this will be input type enumerator, and we can just call it input type. And here all we have to do is just promote it to variable, and this will be current input type. Compile and save. And now in the event graph, we're going to add it after each action. So here when we got, let's do left mouse button first, let's drag it out. So set input buffer, and we will set it to LMB. Copy it, let's paste it here. Here it's going to be RMB. And then also on toggle weapon, here on T, it's going to be toggle weapon. We don't have dodge yet, so we'll set it up later. But for now, this is all the actions we can execute. And now we want to do a couple things. So let's open the animations and 200 and the combo. And what we basically want to do, we want to reset that input, so it will reset in the beginning to no input. Because if you already had something pressed and queued up, then you pressed it in the beginning, then whole montage goes, and then you execute it. You don't want to do that, so you want to always reset it to default one. And then when we can execute action, in this same notify, we are going to set up that we will continue the action that is currently queued up. So first, let's set up that notify that will reset it. So in blueprints, anim notifies. Let's create a new one. So right click, go to blueprints, blueprint class, and this will be anim notify. Select it, and this will be reset action underscore an. We need to set up a couple of the functions in blueprint interface. So add new function, and this one will be reset input, and add it to combat. And second one we need to do will be continue action, and also add it to combat. And now back in this reset notify, so reset action, we want to override this function and receive notify. And from meshcon we're going to get owner, and then we can call reset input, and here check return value to true. And now we can set it up in the combo. So here in the combo we want to, on the beginning, as I said, after first few frames, because basically where you want to not remember the action. Maybe you want to have it even here, but then only this little bit will be where it will remember the input. I want to have it pretty much, when I click here, I want to already save that attack, so when we come to execute, I will execute the second one. So I'm going to add it somewhere here. First add notify track, so it's not overlapping, and then notify reset action. Here in the beginning as well, add notify reset action. add notify, reset action, and add notify, reset action. And we also want to add it to, where else? Equip weapons. So let's go to animations. We do have equip weapons folder, and here on these montages, so bow equip. Again, I'm going to reset the input, so somewhere in the beginning. Reset input, or reset action. I actually need to be careful because some of them going backwards. So this is equip, that's fine. Unequip. Yeah, that is fine. Just check if they are executing from left to right, which should be always the case, I think. So reset action. And here dual wield equip. So spawn weapon, and I'll add notify track here, add notify reset action. Dual wield unequip. Okay, yeah, it always goes left to right because we have reversed the animation, so in the montages it's always correct. So reset action will be on the beginning. Add notify, reset action, add notify, reset action, add notify, reset action, and the last one, add notify, reset action. And all of the actions we will eventually be adding this reset action, but for now these are all the actions we have. And now we are resetting input, so we want to here do something on that function. So in the interface we do have in the combat reset input, double click on it. I'm going to probably add it here on the attack, so I'll move this down because this is just continuation of all the actions, so it's better to have it on top. So reset attack will go here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get that variable, which is current input type, and we're going to set it to no input. So we have reset it. But anytime after that reset, we can press the button and it will remember. So then we're going to call this continue action. Double click on it. And again, add it somewhere here. And on continue action, we want to get the current type. And we're going to check if there is any set. So switch. If there is no input, we're not doing anything. But on these actions, we need to set up custom events because we need to connect it back to like left mouse button and right mouse button and so on. So add custom event, and this one will be continue LMB. Then duplicate it. This one will be continue RMB. Duplicate it. This one will be continue dodge. And duplicate it, continue toggle weapon. We can toggle weapon. Right. So we do have these 4 events, and now we can call them here. So continue LMB, continue RMB, continue dodge, and continue toggle weapon. And now these ones needs to be connected. So continue left mouse button. We still need to check if we can execute action, and we should also check if we have weapon equipped, because if we attack first time, and let's say we're attacking with throwing weapons away, that might happen eventually, I don't know. And then when we're going to continue with the second attack, we want to still run it through here, but it will basically skip pressing the button and it will just go automatically to attacking. continue RMB. This is going to be a little bit more complicated because here we also need to check if we are holding the right mouse button. Otherwise we shouldn't continue if we stop holding it somewhere. So first of all, this will go here. We'll set that up later with the holding button. I'm just going to connect the rest of them. Continue dodge we don't have, so let's just leave it here, and then we connect it when we set up dodge. And continue toggle weapon, we're going to add to draw weapon, can execute action, so before can execute action, and just directly here. Alright. And now, as I said, for RMB events, if we want to continue, we want to check if we are still holding the right mouse button. So let's add it to gameplay tags so we don't have to do boolean variable. And under character checks, add subtag, and this will be holding RMB. Add new tag, and here this is getting longer, but it is to be expected. We're going to get gameplay tags and add gameplay tag, which will be that we are holding right mouse button. And then again we're going to get these gameplay tags, and when we stop holding it, so on cancelled or completed, we're going to remove gameplay tag, and it will be same one, so character checks holding RMB. And this one, disconnect this and just hold control, and nah, okay, didn't work. So just connect it again, cancelled and completed. I remove gameplay tag, compile and save. And now here also we don't want to continue, as I said, if we are not holding it. So same thing, we need to do branch here, and just let's copy it from here. So check is holding right mouse button, and this will go to this check. We need to actually connect it before this because it's not a pure function. RMB branch. What am I doing? That's at. We need to check if it has tag. Sorry, my bad. That is the pure function. So check character checks holding right mouse button, and if he is, then we continue holding right mouse button. Compile and save. And now we actually don't have continue action set up yet. So as I mentioned, in this combo it's best to see it here. When we get to this point when we can execute action, then that's where we're going to also check if there is some attack that we want to continue, if there is some button pressed. So in blueprints, anim notifies can execute action. After this one, enable action, we're going to from owner continue action, and we have already set it up in player to continue. So now if I play the game, let's pick up some weapons. I'm going to do weapon and shield. Come on, there we go. And now I attack and start holding right mouse button immediately, and as soon as he stops attacking and he's available for doing different action, I'll start blocking. So attack and block, and that makes combat much more fluid and so much better, because for example I can block this guy, I can attack quickly, and then after attack I can go to quickly to block, and I can still block in time most of the time, which will be much easier with something like faster weapons. So if I have something like axe and this one, you know, I can block and attack, block and attack. Right, or I can attack, I click, and as soon as I can execute action, I action again. Right? But you can do only 2 actions after each other, because we always reset the reset action, because otherwise you would be just pressing left mouse button 10 times and it would keep attacking, which you don't want. You want to also stop it. Right? So hope you like this one. One more thing I'm going to fix is this health bar. I don't know why I didn't actually hide it on death. So in enemy, what we can do on death is get this enemy hat and set visibility, and new visibility will be off. So compile and save. Now when we kill the guy, I got one weapon, so I really need to fix my axe as well, because it's the wrong position completely. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, there's nothing else to add. And then obviously later in the next videos I think we're going to start doing the block stamina, because what I want to do is, just so you all know, so I want to be using stamina for attacks and dodging, but then for blocking we will have a different stamina bar, because I saw it in some modern games that you actually do have stamina on attacks and dodging, but then also you have the same stamina bar on block, and then when you run out of stamina you got nothing to do. You're kind of like running around awkwardly trying not to get hit, which is just a stupid system. I want to be a little bit more tactical, so once you use your stamina you can start blocking. Once you run out of blocking stamina you will get staggered and so on, and then you have to attack again, so you need to kind of manage it. And we will also set up perfect block, so there will be like 0.2 seconds time when you start blocking that you can stagger enemy automatically. So that's like perfect parry in games. You have it in probably in Elden Ring and other games as well. But I still haven't decided if that's going to be that you have perfect block chance always, or we're going to add it on a cooldown. So that way we could add for warrior class, for example, he will have 3 perfect blocks and they will be on cooldown, or a rogue can have more perfect blocks and so on, and then mage would only have 1 because obviously he can have like a energy shield or something instead. So I will see, but probably I'm going to do it on a cooldown. Otherwise, if you learn enemy attacks, you would just be perfect blocking all the time. So I'll see you in the next one.